As I drive around Theresa Pond, I reminisce about countless evenings swimming with the sun setting in the background. Around the turn, I am greeted by memories of playing 500s on the ball field as I drive past Dimmer's store. I take the long route around so I can savor the ocean view before my traditional glimpses of my grandmother's home as well as my childhood home. Here is where the tantalizing scent of Yvonne's homemade bread was born.
Hey, Jim Jason today.
I'm better than you, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I got coffee here. That's it. That'll do me.
Yeah.
I'll have a drink tonight, so I'll talk better tonight if he wants to come back later on. Yeah.
Just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well,
Were you from Foxgrove?
born Fox Cove, and not only me, but a twin sister too, Evelyn, and we were born at the hospital in Bjorn. Most of my siblings were born at home back then, right? Because we were born in the 50s, or 1954, and there's only one younger than us among 8 of us, so all the rest were like late 40s and early 50s, we'll say, right? There we go. But I have to put the yeast on first, then prepare the flour. Two raspberries, yeast, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, like I said, a little bit more than lukewarm, a little bit really warmer than that. There we go. And stir. A little bit of air there. And next is get some. Dad was a fisherman. He was away on the boats and draggers for most of his life. All our grown-up years, he was away a lot, and up on the lakes, they used to call it, working on boats. And then, luckily, later on in life, he got a position down in Tides Point, down at the lighthouse, just a little hot skip around from our home. And I mean, we were all so happy about that, right? Because he was home, right? Safe, we'll say. Very safe with that. And anyway, so a few years forward from there, he was down at the lighthouse and went out to Tides Cove, where the beach was. And he and my brother and brother-in-law, 3 of them were down there. But anyway, Dad went out to retrieve the birds that they shot, and, well, in the boat. And unfortunately, that overturned, and the end result was took his life, right? So that was a big tragedy, big time, right? And Mom, God love her, she was there from Jericho, and her and Dad met, and they built their house here in Fox Cove, and had 8 of us, 8 children, 2 brothers, a brother, 6 girls, and another brother. Yeah, big crowd. 3 in the bed.
What did your mom do?
Mom, well, she done mainly taking care of all of us and our home and everything in regards to looking after us, because back then there was we didn't have electricity either back then. So, I mean, she's washed clothes on a washboard, that kind of stuff. And then along came electricity, and things got better for her over the years after that, right? She had a comfortable life. Yeah. No doubt about it. And a good life. Mm. And to that I will add, right now I'll be using 8 cups of flour in total, but I'll put 7 in it. Next thing to it. It needs to be done. Not the best, but easy.
So what's your earliest memories of homemade bread?
Homemade bread was always there. It was always bread at our house, right? You know, I mean, she made bread, it was beautiful, cooked in what they call little pot bellies, those little stoves, wood stoves, and of course, you'd make Titans, cook them on top burner, that kind of thing. And yeah, so she made bread. But then later on in life, to supplement her small income, you know, from where dad passed away. It was social services back then, right? And so to supplement that, she made some homemade bread from her kitchen and sold it. And actually it went quite well because we had a lot of draggers back then, the fishing boats, and they used to buy from her. So anyway, she had a little business going from her own kitchen then, right? And then later on in life, when she decided to stop that, well, okay, I'm here. Years later, our house right next to her, that kind of thing. And I said, sure, I'll make it. And up she comes one day with her little bunch of bread pans and the bread dough pan and instructions. And there you go. I went from there now. And that went over well, because then this room we're in now was just a mess room, we'll call it. So we converted it to the bake room, and I had a at-home business because of that then, right? And that went on for quite a few years. Successful too. Okay, and I'll put in about 3/4 of the bag now. There you go. And throw your hands in there and mix it in, or you just keep your hands clean for now.
So how do you know when that yeast is ready to...
Well, as you can see, it's starting to foam right now. I'll leave another 3 or 4 minutes, let it foam a bit more, and it should be good then. My first loaf of bread, oh yes, dead size, still sunk. Still sunk in the deep sea.
Your first attempt wasn't very good. No.
It wasn't very good at all. It was just no, so long ago. It just wasn't good bread. It was heavy and hard, and no, I don't know what I done with it. Yeah, well, that was before man days, before I learned much. You know, my attempt, and then well, that changed over the years. You know, got into my own bakery then, right? So. If you haven't got it, well, you get the regular oven. Check that now. Yeah, you can see it's getting really nice and foamy, Jason. Beautiful. I can use that now. Just yeast. Butter and measured water, and another cup of water, I mean. And that's how I can get the remainder of the yeast in the bowl. So here goes. You know, things too much water, holds not. Not like that. Gives it a good stir.
So when did you start baking bread for a business? Well,
when Mom, like I said, when Mom stopped making it from her kitchen, I started in mine, and it was taking off. It was doing well, and so therefore we converted this room here where we're in now again into the bakery, and about 2 big commercial ovens and 2 mixers, you know, the Hobart stuff, and it went really well. And I had Connie Brossard foot now, right, and she worked with me, and had a few more besides her too, right? Laurie Antle, God love her. I mean, that's when I started doing pies and stuff, because before that I used to just make breads only. Then I decided to expand, and that's where Laurie fit the bill perfectly. She was phenomenal, really. And she's still at it down to Marilyn's Bakery down there. She's still at it down there, so that kept going. They're very soft though. Pretty wet actually. And you keep on adding gradually add the rest to it. At this point in time, you got to get your 2 hands in there, no other way around it. And this lovely pink bread pan belonged to Junior's man, which I acquired, and I used it for many years making dinner rolls. It was just right for dinner rolls for the bakery. So it's been well used over the years. Keep kneading for a little while, gets the flour and picks up the little pieces. There we go. And as always, bless it. And something Mum always did.
So is operating a small business something that your family does a lot of?
Yeah, well, my brother Norbert, he had the Plaza Drive-In, and so he was self-employed, and plus he employed a few others, nice few people over the years. And my sister Jacqueline and her husband, they got mullets contracting in there, so there's another family business there. And then there was mine, and my brother Edmund, he works for shipyard type of work, but he was a very good wood making products. He was successful at that. Actually, I got one of his calendar holders here, right? Things like that. He was really successful at that. Me and she, that's a long time ago, that little shop started up in their basement, and that went over pretty well too. Her neighbour started that. Okay, so 15 minutes, then I'll knead it, and then I'll wait 45 minutes. And of course, there's the mess. Lots of it. Well, you could say the customer base was there due to all the breads that I was making over the years. The breads, different kinds of breads, whole wheat and molasses bread, and dinner rolls and that. But that kind of work brought in squares, cookies, pies, and all that stuff. And anyway, I couldn't deal with that. I didn't have the time for it, or I just didn't want to do that, right? So I had good people like Laurie, like I said, and she was in Connie. Connie started off with me, right? And then Laurie was working here at the same time. So she learned from Connie, and there you go, went from there. And Laurie's still at it. So I can, 15 minutes. As you can see, there's a little difference to it, rose wet. And whatever this does, just activates it all again, and quick knead. And this was just 15 minutes after I originally mixed it up. That's it, just a little quick knead. Next time you see it, should be well up by 45 minutes. I'll time it now. Yeah, rattling your baby. Just like you used to be, Jason. Oh.
Like in the 80s with the crash of the fishery and things like that. I assume bread is one of those items that's a staple product that
couldn't go wrong with it. What Bern Farrell used to sell down Mearstown was wonderful, and then After that, Pike's up in Bjorn and Blackdock Cove, St. Lawrence stores, you know, Arby Farrell's and Albert's up there, you know, so we went over pretty well. Plus, like I said, back in the boats, we had the boats too, right? But even after that, it still went good and still is. It's just that I'm not there. Well, it's been rising for about an hour and 15 minutes. Now I got to knead it and then get the air bubbles going through it again. Here it squeaks. Air. That's the sign of good bread. That's the sign of good dough, I should say. Squeaky dough. There we go. That's a good sign, Jason. Got lots of air bubbles. A little bit of dough, keep it from being too sticky. So in about a half hour, I'll put it in the pans.
So when you started expanding your business and you hired new personnel, like you said, you hired Lori and Connie and Wally and others.
What
other changes did you have to make to adapt to a larger amount of customers?
I had 2 commercial mixers, and it was back when I got busy like that I bought the big ovens too. Each oven held 24 loaves of bread, so I was able to make bake 48 loaves of bread at one time, right? I mean, that was pretty good. That was really good. So within an hour and a half or so, we'd have about 150 plus loaves of bread done, right? So it went good. The ovens really made the difference for that. You wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. Not in a little oven that takes 6 at a time.
You eventually ended up getting a mixer too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I had the big commercial mixer. It was, oh my God, I mean, that was like heaven watching that just mix for you. A baby. Well, the baby's blanket, like I said, it was one of Mina's children's. It was covered in it.
So what about the recipe itself? Since you had your basic recipe that you had from when your mom was baking to when you started baking, even after the expansion of building and growing, did you still use the same recipe?
Yeah. I made bread this morning. That was the recipe. Only I just had to 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, whatever, right? So didn't change. Didn't change the bread at all, actually. It was really nice bread. So they all say it.
You take a lot of pride in
I
your
did.
bread.
I did. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was a nice business. And the biggest bonus to it was the fact that I had a stay-at-home mom. And I was able to stay at home with you guys and have a little business on the go besides. You know, it was perfect. And then with, you know, like I said, Wally used to come and take it. And Jason, 1 o'clock or so, I was finished for the day, right? You know, so it was pretty good. And the fact that I didn't have to leave the house to go to work. I was still here for you guys when you came home in the evenings and stuff like that, right? So anyway, all in all, it was pretty good, Jason. Yeah, no regrets.
It's always good.
Yeah, and I still love making bread, 6 at a time. Back to the hands. No mixers now. Spray butter. Should be 8 ounces. See if I'm right now. Please be. Oops. That was lady luck. Each one got me thanks. Don't expect that.
So whatever happened to Yvonne's bakery?
That was wonderful. Marilyn and Albert Blagden bought the business, and they started up then their store, and it's been ongoing ever since. Quite successful actually, and they've added a lot more to it too. It has beautiful cakes and stuff down there too, right? And Laurie's still there, so I mean, you know, I'm not sure. I don't know her other workers personally, but they're a good bunch. They're successful, thank God. There. That makes a difference. Just the one button's a bit bigger than the other, it makes no difference.
I suppose your bread became quite a important, not important, I guess it is kind of important, part of the community even.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
I suppose you had neighbours coming to the doors all
They
the
did.
time.
Yeah, Pam Whalen and Harry Antle. Who else? There was a few. Oh, Pat Antle. I could cry now. Yeah, he came and did stop now.
He was one of your biggest customers,
I
wasn't he?
loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was more than a customer.
No, I can see that. I know that.
Probably has some tight and down to it from it. I'll throw this out to the birds.
Oh,
Oh yeah, none goes to waste. Didn't realise it was so hot out. Beautiful. Just look at it. Look, they'll be land. They'll be over here. There. Did you get it? Sorry, that went too quick. Still see the flower dust in the air. Look. Yeah, I'll check on them in an hour's time and see how they're coming along. Timer for everything. Now don't forget everything. A bit of plastic, keep the heat in. Yeah. Rise and bake. Hopefully it'll be alright. Now, Jason? Ooh, yes, they're ready. Ready to bake. And bake at 360. Don't look at the dirt either. It's not my favourite job, even if it is self-clean. I don't clean it very much. And this baby, put that into it. There we go. Maybe done, maybe not. Turn the light, shut him up. That's what Cara says. Oh yeah, not done yet, Jason. It's too white. Oh, that's more time. There we go. Done. Should be done now. It's alright, done it? A little baby one. Mr. To high school with his daughter, and Mr. Jan Cody, and it was Jan. Anyway, he gave me. I used to bring bread into his home too, and he had a new stove, and he gave me an oven rack from his old one. I've been using it ever since.
Nice memory. Nice memories.
Very nice. He was some nice man too. Lovely boys. Hope they're cooked. Supposed to cooked, I'm assuming there. Some butter on it. That's what makes it crack. Here. And, there we go. Lovely. And there's a little treat here, Jason, if you want it. Put some butter on it. Loads of butter. Cut them in half, put loads of butter. Nice. Every time bread comes out like that, it makes you happy. Really do. It's a satisfaction in it.
I can tell.
It is. Especially when you're showing it off. Especially when you're showing it out to somebody. Anyway, I'm pleased.